Welcome to all the mini enthusiasts, or classic car enthusiasts generally. Just a couple of things I want to give you a bit of an update on, and a plan I've got for the Mini. And if anybody thinks it's a bit over the top, or it's more worth than it's worth, put in a comment. Tell me what you think. The first thing I wanted to mention is I've got 3 welding helmets here that I've had over a period of, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is. And this was the first helmet I got, which was, I think it was, I don't know, €45 or something like that, because it's quite some time ago. The thing about these helmets, all of them are solar, and you don't get any solar. You think you get when you get the flash or the arc, that is actually producing any energy for it. It has to be out in the sun, or you need to put them outside for a few hours, or whenever, every now and again, every few weeks, months, whatever. But the difference in the quality, this one I've just bought now is a 3N, and the quality of the hood, the way it flops down, the speed of the reaction to the light, to the strike in the arc, everything is so much better. Now this thing was €130. It's not top end. If you get the fancy ones with fire stickers on them, or American flags or British flags, whatever, you're paying another €30 on top of that. I think with all the gear it was about, if you put all the decals on it, I think it's about €150 or something like that, 160, whatever. This was kind of a middle range one. I think that was about 70 at the time, but of course there was quite a bit of difference years between them. But that's a lot of the problem is, if you're in a garage where we are now, even in the summer, we get a lot of sunlight in, but the windows are all only on one side, and they're east facing, and we have our garden behind us. We have a lot of trees. We have a small clump of, it's not forest, but a small amount of trees, and so the sun doesn't come in as well. So they do need to go outside. A couple of things I wanted to point out. So tonight I'm going to show you something on the front subframe, and then I'm going to show you what I intend to do on the Mini. And as I say, please chip in with a comment if you'd like to. So I'll pick it up now and show you this this front subframe. So I've got these alloy spacers now, as you can see here. There's the bottom one, and this is the top one. Obviously this flat is going in, and so it's jamming, so it can't turn. The original ones would be this, which that would go underneath. Sorry, that would go underneath, that one there. This is the one on the bottom, and then this is the one underneath there. So basically what you're doing is taking up this space. They do say there's a little bit of road noise from it, but I mean, Minis are not great anyway. But the difference is there's no movement with these. I've also got the alloy ones for the front as well. They normally have a bit of rubber in them, but they do wear quite badly. So I'm going to change all that over when I put the subframe in. So that's another job, and you can see these are the solid mounts as well. Bottom line, I mean, it's more for the steering geometry rather than it is for anything else. I mean, Minis are not made to be comfortable. Oh, this is a little thing as well. My wife got a new ironing board, and she was chucking this out, and I thought, you know what, I could probably use that. It's very lightweight, but the nice thing about these old ironing boards, and they cost nothing, people chuck them out, is you can obviously lift them up and down and have different things. So what I'm going to do is this is another thing she was throwing out, which is not much cop because it's not thick enough, but this having holes in it, and I'll make something at the top with heavy bars for doing my plasma cutter, because if you try and cut something plasma up against something, you make a hell of a mess, really. So this is 2 little domestic items that have been, that I won't use, but something light I could probably put on the end of it. But it's ideal because the air will, and the plasma will just go straight through it. It's not very thick, but obviously as long as we keep make something out of strong bars well above it. It should be no problems at all. So there you go, something domestic you could use. Anyway, so to show you the Mini, just another quick update on this. I cleaned out these welds after I'd done them, and I think you can see there they look pretty nice. And this is cleaned with that Black & Decker, thin banded sandpaper on it. Really good. I'm really quite pleased with that. So this is the idea at the back, and as I say, please chip in if you think it's a bit over the top. But what it is, I've been thinking about this for a little while. Now, this Mini is not standard anyway, because it's not a 500 Sport, although it's got all that. It's a kind of replica, if you like. I wanted to make the body kind of standard, but it's got, for instance, it's got beige Cobra seats with black piping and the Cobra in them. Now with them Cobra seats, you can't lift them up. So when I got the car, in the back it had, just to let you see, in the back here, well, I'll have to show you the boards, but basically the Cobra seats will only come up to a point, and because they're so tall, the headrest is so tall, it's hitting the top, so you can't get into the back. So what the guy had done is he'd actually made a fitted floor in it, and he had a massive amplifier in it, and I don't know what else did he have in it, a fire extinguisher and all kinds of stuff. This amplifier was huge, big chrome looking thing, which I've still got. It had in the front it had a CD player, but with a screen that popped out, one of those flip up screen things, which I've still got. As I say, to be honest, the amount of stuff this guy had put on this car, it was more than I'd basically got the car for the third of the price of what the stuff cost. But so there you go. Anyway, so what I'm thinking now is I've been looking a lot on these Mini forums where people go to, these Brighton runs and I don't know, they go to club meetings and I have weekends away, and I'm thinking, where do they put the stuff? Where, the old adverts showed that 4 people could get in one of these cars and you could put all kinds of luggage in the back. But as well as I do, when you start putting a tyre in there and a jack and a few bits and pieces, there isn't a lot of room, and having 4 people, 2 people is bad enough in a Mini. 1 person's perfect. 2 people's maximum you really want in a Mini, or the handling goes to shit anyway. So the back seats are pretty useless. So what I'm thinking of doing is, once the tank is in, the tank will stay the same way. And what I'm thinking of doing is cutting out this back panel up to where the edge of the tank is, the fuel tank is, and building an aluminium piece for it. So I would take this one out, I would put some strengthening ribs in it like that, but I would do it in aluminium, yes, but with rubber. So I would make it so it hinged just above those brackets there for the rear seat belts, because there won't be any in it, and then it'll hinge down and come down here over the top of the wheel well. And what I'm going to do is extend that right through, so when you pull this down you can see right into the car, and I'll make a rack so that you can put stuff in and you can put it inside the car, but I'll build it in such a way, I'm not quite sure how I'll do it yet, but this is the idea, and if anybody's done it I'd be really interested. The other thing I was thinking about is, that's all very well and good, but with a Mini opening here on the boot hinges, it sticks out quite a distance, so it makes it hard to push it in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build, and I've checked and I've not seen one. I've seen a guy who's made a hinge, who's hinged it on the top here, and it flips up. It looks like a Fiat 126 type, very flimsy hinge thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hinge it on this side, because obviously there's a tank only on the one side. I'm going to hinge it in here. So in fact the whole door, the whole rear boot lid hinges open like that, so it completely opens up to the side. It'll come out, and what I'll do is I'll use tubular or box section inside to give it the strength, and that way this handle here can still be used. So it will look exactly the same, except it'll open in one opening, if you like, and I think that'll work. But if anybody's done it, or anybody